Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Chronicles of a Crafter. Today I'm going to show you a little flip-flap thingy again that I've been working on when I was under the weather. And this is just a 1, 2, 3, 4 pocketed little flip that you can put flat into your junk journal. Again, I'm going to give you all of the measurements, and this is simply made with 6 by 12 inch paper. So you take one large 12 by 12, cut them in half, and then you have these 3 pages like this. Okay, so you'll have 3 of these. This other, well, actually 2 pages. This flap right here was just some scrap that I had from another pack. Let me see, it might have been just a page that I had that was like cut into 8 by 8. So again, take a 12 by 12, cut it down to 8 by 8, and I'll give you all of the score marks and cut marks and everything that you need in order to get this cutie. So here, I'll just show you all of the pockets that are on here. Here's a piece of scrap. Here's a pocket right here. Okay, there's a pocket back here. Okay, there's obviously a pocket here. And my scrap has scrap hanging from it. So yeah, there's a pocket here. And then there's this little pocket over here. I don't know if my scrap will fit down in there, but it's about 4 inches deep. Let me see. It's about 6 inches deep. So you'd need a fairly long tag to get down in there. Okay, so let's just make this. All right, I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I am going to do the opposite on my new project. So this is my prototype. The green is the background, and my first flap is this leafy floral, and then my small flap is this other green floral. But I think I'm going to do it opposite and put my 2 greens on the front. This right here will be my background. The first thing you want to do is flip your page over to the undecorated side. So this is single-sided 12 by 12 paper pack. Yeah, just flip it over to the white side, and the first score mark is going to be at 3 3/4. Okay, and then your second score mark is going to be at 9 1/4. All right, and that's what's going to give us this back double pocket right here. So I'm going to fold on those 2 score marks. This is my 3 3/4 score mark, and here is my 9 1/4. Okay, I'm just burnishing down those score marks. Let me move my large scoreboard out of the way, and the next thing I want to do is probably ink everything, but first I want to cut my thumb notch in for both pockets. So the only reason this one is larger is so that when you cut your thumb notch, you still have this background here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut my thumb notch with my 2.5 inch circle punch. And I also want to, okay, so I'll show you where I made my mistake. I centered my thumb notch on this entire flap. Okay, what you want to do is center your thumb notch when the flap is closed. So with this closed, I only have this much of a thumb notch that I'm working with, not all of this. Okay, if that makes any sense. I hope you guys understand what I mean. So what I want to do is put a little pencil mark right here. Okay, and that tells me that this is my from here to here is where my center of the pocket is. Okay, so I'm just going to place my circle punch in here and estimate where my center is, and now I have that. All right, so that's a little bit closer than where this is, and of course my circle punch is so much bigger on this one. Here, let me make my thumb notch just a little bit bigger. Okay, not too shabby. All right, so yeah, that looks a little bit better. And I'm going to also center punch a thumb notch right in here on this pocket as well. All right, you can round your corners if you like. On this particular project, I opted not to have rounded corners. Yeah, I just thought it looked best without rounded corners. Again, I'm just trying to center it up as best as possible, and yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, so there's that. Here's our base, and what you want to do is glue a bead of glue right down here and at the bottom. So I'm going to use my art glitter and grab my glue mats. So I'm just going to put a bead of glue straight down the side here. And you want to keep it close to the edge as possible. As you remember yesterday's video, I did have some issues getting my tags down into the pockets. They finally got down in there. I just had to open up the pockets just a little bit. Turns out that there was some glue stuck in certain areas that shouldn't have been. But yeah, I just took my bone folder and stuck it down inside the pocket and just opened up the opening just a little bit so that those tags went down in there a lot smoother. And we're going to fold this over. There will be some glue seepage. Just get that glue off of there so that this pocket doesn't get glued in the wrong spaces. Alright, so yeah. And we're going to now glue down this pocket on two sides. So these two sides right here, I'm just going to add a little bit of art glitter. So I hope you guys are having a crafty day. I am feeling so much better after being under the weather for so long. It wasn't anything to really worry about. I was just, you know, I think I've beaten myself to death with crafting. Like, I need to take it a little bit easier. And yeah, just crafting should be fun, right? Like, it shouldn't be stressful at all. So I may scale back just a couple of days on my videos. So instead of maybe every single day and sometimes Saturday, I think I'll probably just do maybe 3 or 4 times a week. And yeah, just to you know, just staying in the realm of understanding that crafting should be fun, and I should not be stressed out over not getting something done, right? And of course, here it is. I did not get something done. I forgot to ink before I glued. So now we're going to go in and ink it all. And I'll figure out a way to get those thumb notched pockets inked. But it shouldn't be a problem. Like, there are solutions to everything. Everything has a solution. Alright, and I'm just inking all around, and I'm going to, let's see, let me grab a piece of scrap. Here is an index card, right? So you run into an issue like this where you did not ink your pocket. Just stick an index card in there, get it as close to the edge as possible, and then, yeah, just ink it. Now, most of the ink you want on the index card and not on the paper. So there, couldn't even tell that I missed a step. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to tuck it back here onto this pocket, and I'm just going to ink that thumb notch in because, you know, accidents happen. So there, couldn't tell that you skipped a step one bit. Alright, but just for future notice, you want to ink before you glue down your pockets. Alright, moving on to the next piece of 6x12. Alright, so this is the green that we're going to use for our angled flap. what I want to do is score at 5 3/4 here and 11.5 over here. Okay, so I'm going to also cut this at 5 3/4. So let me move my scoreboard, grab the guillotine, and I'm going to cut this at the 5 3/4 mark to separate these two sides right here. And I'm sure there is an easier way to do this, but this is the way that I found it to work out best. And I'm also going to need my guillotine right here for just a moment. And this is my glue flap on this side. Right, so we want to angle our edges here. Okay, so that is our glue flap. And this will be our front of that angled flap. So from here, you want to, I'm going to measure this off at from the bottom, go up 3.5 inches. Let's just see what that looks like. I'm not going to cut anything, I'm just using my guillotine to measure it. So from the bottom, 3.5. Let's make it 2 3/4. Okay, so from the bottom here, measure up 2 3/4. And I'm just going to write that on my notes so I don't forget. 2 3/4 from the bottom. So on my, let me grab my small scoreboard. Here's my back side with the glue flap. Making sure that they measured up the right way. Okay, so here on the inside of this one, I'm just going to rotate this, measure up 1, 2 3/4. So this is my end of that pocket, and this is where I'm going to put a circle punch thumb notch right here. So between this mark and the bottom, just gonna guesstimate a thumb notch right there. And I didn't forget to ink this time, so I'm gonna ink this entire thing. You're not gonna need all of it, but I will ink all the way around. But we're going to cut off part of it, so I'm going to show you where we're going to cut. Alright, so there is the pocket on the side right there. And I will ink this one as well. And again, we're not going to need all of the entire thing inked, but because we don't know where we're going to cut yet, let's just ink it. Ink it, ink it, ink it. Okay, alright, so this is what we're going to have when we're done. Now you can glue this entire thing down and use it as a full flap, so it would look like this, okay, if you're not comfortable with the next step. Okay, so you will have a full flap over like so. Alright, or we can go with the angle. So I know that this is my stop mark right here. This is my corner over here. I know my pocket has to be at least this big. So I'm going to show you what I did to get that angle. Alright, well, I have a prototype. I can always just take my prototype, line it up here, and then cut it. Okay, but and then again, with that you have that extra piece that's left over. If I can find it, it was right here somewhere. Here it is. Okay, so here is the remainder of that have that angle, okay? So if you want to duplicate it, you have this, okay? But what I've done was I took my angle, measured it, and it measures 3 and 3 1/4. 3 1/4. Alright, so I know that this top part right here has to be 3 1/4, okay, based on what I've done previously. So 3 1/4, and this was 2 3/4. So I'm just going to stick this into my guillotine and chop it down. I'm cutting them both at the same time. You can glue it first, then chop it, but I am just going to stick this into the guillotine and cut it down like so. Okay, and that's what we have left right there. And this is when you want to glue. So I'm just going to glue the top part of this, and again the top part of this down to this score mark, that little tiny score mark that I made. And I'm going to use my Scotch Create glue stick only at the top, and then art glitter down at the bottom. Okay. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of art glitter around the edges here where my pocket will end. And down here. And right along here. Okay. And I'm gluing this to this as straight as possible. Okay. And now I will ink my new angle that I put on here. And you can leave it completely open if you like, and just glue around the edge, but I just wanted to seal up this top part so that whatever I tuck down inside of here doesn't get lost in that corner and then I can't get it out. So yeah, it's up to you how you want to handle that upper corner, but yeah, I just glued it down solid with Scotch Create. Okay, so here's our base. This is our side flap, the angle flap I should say, and that just flaps over just like so. Okay, so I'm just going to art glitter this flap down, leaving enough room. Don't go to the score mark, just leaving enough room for it to flip over without any hindrance. So like so. Okay, and there's that. And now I'm going to take my sheet that I had cut to 8 by 8. All right, it was just a 12 by 12. I used up 4 inches somewhere else, and I was left with an 8 by 8 sheet, and I just cut it in half. Okay, so 8 by 8, cut in half, and I'll give you the score marks for that little pocket. So I'm going to take my page, flip it over to the back side. I'm going to score it 1/2 inch on one side over here, and then I'm going to score it at 4. Let's see. I'm going to score it at 4. and then fold it over. Well, 4 was not right. I'm going to score it at 4.5. Did I write that somewhere? Yeah, score it at 4.5, guys. My bad. Alright, so yeah, obviously you take away a 1/2 inch, you got to add a 1/2 inch on the other side. So if you scored it here at 1/2 inch, score it at 4.5 on 4.25. Sorry, on the other side. 4.25. Alright. It's been a long day. Alright, I'm sorry guys. So here's my, again, my 4x8 sheet. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch and then score it at 4.25. Alright, and that'll get you folded over to where the 1/2 inch mark is. And this again is your glue flap. And I'm going to cut my little angles off to reduce the bulk on the back side. And here is my pocket. And you can punch your circle punch for your thumb notch right here. And we're going to ink. Okay, and I'm just going to use my art glitter to glue down my 3 sides. So here, actually just 2 sides need glue, here and here. Okay. Alright, and now we have this little flap right there. And again, I'm just going to use a little bit of art glitter glue right along the back side of my glue flap. I'm going to place it onto my background. Fold that in. And now we have that. Alright, very similar to the previous. Here, I'll show you it. Okay. Very, very similar. Okay, guys, but I just wanted the background changed. Therefore, this angled flap changed on both of them. Alright? Alright, guys, I'm going to leave you right here. I hope you guys have a crafty day. And I will talk to you in the next video. Stay naturally curious, guys. Bye.